We get lonely sometimes. I get it. And in those moments or in those times in our life, we want to have somebody there. We want to have that warm body next to us. And now entertaining a situationship becomes a little tempting. It seems a little bit like maybe this might work for right now. But wait, there are some pitfalls. There are some issues you need to be aware of. So I'm going to explain to you the 5 reasons why you should not entertain a situationship. Hey, my name is Stephan Labossiere, aka Stephan Speaks, back with another dating and relationship advice video for men and women, because we're all dealing with this situationship dynamic going on in today's world. But before we begin, as always, be sure to like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, and you know what? Let me know below. Would you entertain a situationship? Just be honest. There's no judgment here. Let's keep it real. Would you entertain it? Now, I know you already heard the title, 5 reasons why you should not, all right? But again, I want to reiterate the fact that I understand why so many are doing it. It is very easy to think this is going to be a harmless situation and that it's not a big deal. Why can't we have someone there in the meantime while we're either working on ourselves or we're waiting for that the one to come, our soulmate? And so I know all the reasons why people do it, but I know all the reasons why it fails. All the reasons why it causes so many issues and so many problems. So I simply want you to be aware of those reasons. Now, you're a grown adult, and by the end of this video, I want you to hear the whole thing, and you're gonna make your own decision about what you are willing to do and entertain. But I want you to be aware of the reasons why you should not. So before we get to it, check out my book, He's Lying Sis. Now, yes, the video is for men and women, and right now I'm promoting a woman's book. Don't get me wrong, there are books for men at my store, Stephanspeakshop.com, but you can click the link, the first link in the description and in the comment section to get your copy of He's Lying Sis. Women are loving it. It's helping women everywhere. Don't miss it. Anyways, let's get to number 1. So first reason why you should not entertain a situationship. You will develop an unhealthy attachment. Or to be fair, let's say you can develop, and it's very likely you're going to develop an unhealthy attachment. Here's the reality. Some of the marriages that we're seeing right now started as situationships. Some of the co-parenting situations we see right now started off as situationships. Some of the people who thought this was going to be a harmless situation end up being heartbroken, damaged, and all kinds of other issues that we will talk about more in this video. And it all started with a situationship. The reality is when we are emotionally or physically investing into someone, all right? And if you're giving your time, your energy, pleasing them in any kind of way, you are investing, whether you realize it or not. And in that investment, it becomes very easy over time to become attached to this individual. Even though in the beginning, you knew or you told yourself this is going nowhere, it's no big deal, so on and so forth. So many people have caught feelings. Now, when I say caught feelings, I don't mean genuine, this is the one for me. They may start thinking that, but at the root of it, it's not that. It's the unhealthy attachment confusing them. But you start feeling like maybe this could be it. Maybe I can make it work. Or you start getting very jealous. There's all kinds of things. You get very possessive. So many people have found themselves in situations where they didn't think their feelings would be a problem, and yet it became one. All right. And now through, again, giving all this time and energy, people want a return on their investment. And now letting go of this thing, letting go of this person becomes more difficult. Not to mention, forget just the investment part. Let's just say, because we're all adults here, you're having a physical relationship with this individual because, let's be real, I don't know any situationship right now that doesn't involve intimacy. And let's say the intimacy is good. Let's say the intimacy is great. This now creates an attachment. I always say that sex has contributed to a lot of people holding on to someone they should have let go of a long time ago. All right. And so now you struggle to let go. Not only do you possibly struggle to let go, this can actually interfere with your future relationships because now you end up comparing your new person to your situationship. You start comparing the person that you could actually have a healthy relationship to your situationship, not understanding that the intimacy was good, not simply because that person was so good at it. Now, we got to go deeper into that, and that's not happening in this video. But I just want to plant that seed that it's not what you think it is. But again, the point here is that all of it contributes to creating an unhealthy attachment. And now you blink your eyes and the situationship turned into months, years that you're still dealing with this same person. And you don't know what the hell you're doing with yourself. And you don't know what to do with yourself. It's like, oh my God, like, how did I even get here? And now the struggle is so hard to walk away. The longer you stay dealing with someone, the harder it can get. Now, I know some of you are thinking, nah, I'm good. My cutoff game is strong. Like, I have no problem letting someone go if that's all I wanted for them. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm not saying there aren't people out there who haven't done this and survived. What I'm saying to you is that most people end up getting something that damages their life. They end up getting something that causes a problem, and many do develop in some way, shape, or form an unhealthy attachment. So that is a huge reason why you should not entertain a situationship. Second reason why you should not entertain a situationship is that it can become an unnecessary distraction. Now, here's what I've seen in so many people's lives, all right? Again, situationships are always validated with it's harmless, it's no big deal, we know what it is, so on and so forth, right? But the reality is that you are now dealing with someone that you have to give your time to, all right? You are now dealing with someone, a human being who has emotions, who will react in certain situations, who can potentially bring drama your way. Because especially when you're being intimate with people, when you're hanging out with them, and their feelings are getting caught up in any way, shape, or form, it is very possible, hell, you can say very likely, that at some point, drama or unnecessary issues will arise. And so now, again, what you thought was harmless becomes a huge distraction, because that time you could have been working on you worried about them. That time you could have been grinding on your business, you there laying up with them. That time you could have been maybe getting closer to family, maybe working on other areas of your life. Hell, maybe positioning yourself for who you really should be with. And we'll touch a little bit more about that as we go along in this video. But the bottom line is, this situationship is now becoming a distraction. You think it's good for you because you're getting your needs met in the moment. But what are you sacrificing for that? And a lot of times we lose sight of that. We don't realize in the moment what we're giving up. And it's not till we look back that we're like, dang, I could have been doing such and such with that time. I could have accomplished so much more, especially if, God forbid, it spirals out of control and becomes something completely horrible. And again, I know we always say every child is a blessing. But listen, every baby father and baby mother is not a blessing, all right? Every situation that child was born into is not a blessing. So let's not try to put this sweet icing on the cake. And it ain't cake. It's a pile of garbage in a lot of situations, all right? We got to be real about that. And those things can happen or come from these quote-unquote situationships. So you got to be mindful of that and understand, listen, can you afford this distraction right now? Have you really done what you need to do in your life? Because if you haven't, how will this properly serve you? Will it really be a benefit to you? Or is it simply a form of instant gratification that will turn into long-term suffering? Ask yourself that question. Now, the third reason why you shouldn't entertain a situationship, it will derail your growth. Now, this pretty much goes connected to what we just talked about. But the bottom line is that the time that we should be focused on us, we're giving to other things in our life. So it's not just a situationship at this point. The reality is that you already have a life, chances are, that is occupied with responsibilities to some extent. Whether it's your work, if you got kids, it's kids. It could be family members. It could be all types of different things, right? And we already have this limited space for us. And if we're going to be real, most people are not working on them the way that they should. All right. And most people will argue, well, they don't have time, even though you do. You just have to make the time. You have to learn how to manage your time. But again, that's a whole nother video. The point is, people aren't taking advantage or creating time for themselves and their growth and their evolution in life. All right. Now you bring in this person, this situationship, and you've now taken more precious time out of your life to give to someone where there's no long-term future. All right. Where there is essentially this is not going to be in your best interest in the long term, but you sacrifice the time you could have been using for you. But not only is it a matter of sacrificing the time, here's the reality. When we engage in these situationships, 9 times out of 10, we turn a blind eye to our flaws and issues. If we have shortcomings, if we have things we need to be working on personally, with our character, with our maturity, whatever the case may be, we will now make excuses or validate or just flat out ignore it and simply turn our attention to this person. And sometimes what happens is, because in most situationships, you choose an individual who isn't necessarily someone you actually want to be with. And so because of that, they tend to be, I hate to use this term, but I'm just going to use it, of a lower quality. In many situations, I'm not saying all, so I don't want anybody to get offended, but a lot of times, and when I say lower quality, I simply mean as far as what you would actually desire and want in a serious relationship. They may still be a quality person per se, but they're not for you like that. And so essentially now what happens is, if you do happen to pick someone who is even of lower, again, I won't say quality, they're of lower development. Maybe that's a nicer way to put it. They haven't fully developed yet as an individual. Well, now, essentially, when you stack up your flaws next to theirs, it's like, well, I'm not that bad. Oh, okay, I don't have issues. I'm better than this person, so I must be fine. Like, you actually become blind to it, because in that situationship, you're fooled into thinking you're better than you actually are. Because now when you go stand next to a healthy person, when you go stand next to a person who is developed, now your flaws smack you in the face. Now it's like, damn, I wasn't as good as I thought I was. And that can be scary. And now, if you actually meet the person who's for you, that can cause you to run away from them. That can cause you to struggle to embrace the person who actually makes you feel vulnerable and you truly would want to be with, because you have not allowed yourself to develop. And that's what situationships can do. They can derail your development and derail your growth. So be mindful of that if you're gonna entertain one. Now, the fourth reason why you shouldn't entertain a situationship, but real quick, once again, He's Lying Sis, get the book. Trust me, you're gonna love it. Click the first link in the description and in the comment section. Anyways, back to this video. Number 4, the situationship can add damage and hurt to your life. So again, a lot of people go into these situations thinking, I'm good, I can handle it, it ain't gonna be a big deal, my feelings won't get involved in this situation, so I'm gonna turn out just fine. But in the midst of this whole process or this whole dynamic, in a lot of cases, someone gets hurt, all right? And that someone can be you. And so now that hurt is very problematic, not just because, well, who the hell wants to be hurt? And I wouldn't want you to go through that. But that hurt and damage you suffer from that situation can now pour over into your other relationships, can now hinder you in a future relationship with someone that you could have success with. But now you're going to make them pay the price for this person who never belonged in your life to begin with. And you're going to carry this baggage in a way that hinders you in multiple aspects of your life. Because again, when we are hurt and we don't heal, because that's the key, you're going to have to make sure you heal if you do experience hurt and damage. But let's be real, a lot of people don't. A lot of people go through a situation, go through a relationship, move on to the next at some point without properly healing. And then what happens is, not only does it affect you in your future relationships, it affects your health, mentally, physically, even spiritually. All right. And it hinders you in so many ways. And so Again, anytime we are engaging intimately with somebody, anytime we are investing in them, anytime we're giving our time and energy, there is a very high risk of getting hurt in some way, shape, or form. All right? Even if I've seen some situations where let's just use a woman. Woman goes into it. She's like, I'm cool. I don't want him like that. I just want to have my fun, enjoy myself. That's it, right? And then they were able to go into it like that because initially it was like the guy kind of wanted more, but she was like, no, we're going to play by my rules. This is the way it is, right? But he still kind of shows that attention and she runs the show. Next thing you know, he flipped the script on her. And now he really wants someone else. And now that attention that he was giving her is being taken away, and now she feels some kind of way. Not because you're really into the man, not because he's for you, but there's something psychologically that happens when you are so used to getting that attention, and now it's not just taken from you, it's given to someone else. And now you start getting caught up in a battle of, well, that person ain't better than me. Why is he giving her the attention? Why does he want to be with her now? Now, I'm not saying this happens to everybody. I'm just giving you an example of what I have seen, what I know has happened many times to people. And yes, it can happen to men too. So the reality is that many people walk into a situationship, maybe okay. You know what? Scratch that. The reality is this. Most people walk into a situationship already damaged. I'm just going to keep it real. Most of the time, you've already suffered some kind of damage, and this situationship is your in-between. It's the I don't want to put myself out there completely and deal with the BS I feel comes with relationships, but I want companionship. So this is my compromise to still have someone there, but not fully give myself. So you walk in damaged. Chances are you're going to engage with another damaged person. So guess what's going to happen? You're going to walk out more damaged. That is the likely scenario in so many cases. So again, you have to ask yourself, is that worth it? And do you really want to take that damage and trauma on for some temporary gratification that isn't going to fulfill you anyway? And now the last reason why you should not entertain a situationship, it can block your blessings. Now listen, I know some people say there's no such thing as somebody blocking your blessings. What's for you is for you. And if you want more on that, there's a video you can check out that I have called 3 Signs You're Blocking Your Blessings. But anyways, the point is that think about what we talked about in this whole list. Distractions, unhealthy attachments, damage and trauma, derailing your growth. All of these things contribute to essentially creating a wall of negative energy in your life. All these things create this situation where now you are no longer focused on what you need to be doing. And again, you're distracted and all over the place with things you shouldn't even be entertaining. And so you can't receive your blessings that God has for you if you're walking a path that God doesn't even want you on. That's very difficult to do. Now, I'm not saying no one has, I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into that specific aspect of it. But I'm simply going to say that, listen, you can't be walking in a completely wrong direction and then you're going to get to the right destination. That's the bottom line. Now, listen, we're all human. I'm not judging. I understand. Sometimes you're going to slip up, but you better get right back on the right path. And the problem is, again, situationships have the potential to not just steer you onto the wrong path, but to keep you there. Like I said, that unhealthy attachment. Like I said, that unwanted pregnancy with the wrong person. All right? The damage, the trauma, all of these things can now pull you away from receiving what's truly best for you. But not just receiving what's truly best for you, receiving the person who is best for you. Because all of those things I mentioned are going to have an impact on your ability to receive and embrace, as well as sustain a healthy relationship with the right person. Not to mention, I'll hear people say, oh, I've been waiting 5 years. I still haven't found the right person. I'm like, okay, well, what have you been doing for these last 5 years? And it's like, yeah, I had this situation. So you've been in a situationship for the last 5 years, talking about how you've been waiting 5 years to meet the right person. So let me just paint the picture. You're essentially waiting in the wrong line You're waiting in, I don't know what I'm going to say. You're waiting in the cheese line waiting to receive bread. Like, that doesn't make any sense. You're not where you're supposed to be to get what you desire. And you're saying, well, you've been waiting. Nah, you've been waiting in the wrong place. So now, when you get out of the wrong line, you're going to have to go to the back of the line of the right one. And now you've delayed the process or you've hindered it because you've added all this unnecessary stuff to it. Now, again, it happens to the best of us. And some of y'all are in situationships right now. It's not too late to leave. It's not too late to get things back on the right track. But yes, I'm going to be real with you. Does it set you back a little bit? It does. In most cases, it does. Some people may have gotten lucky, but in most cases, you have taken a couple steps back. But I'd rather you deal with that so you can now move forward in the right direction than to stay in the wrong line, on the wrong path, doing the things that are not working in your favor. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. But when you meet that healthy, loving person who wants to give you the world, you're like, what's the deal here? What's really going on? You can't trust it. You can't believe it. You question everything about it. You will self-sabotage before you allow yourself to be with that person.